Well, we are here, our final live show of 2024. We are heading into 2025, and I welcome each and every one of you. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. But before we start, I want to make sure that everyone can hear me. So, would somebody please weigh in with your 5x5? Because, all this technology, and we still got some problems here and there. So, somebody weigh in. I know there's a little bit of a lag that you can hear me. I'm coming in loud and clear, live from New York City, the place where the big ball drops tonight in Times Square. And I have to tell you, I was out very early this morning crossing from west to east side, and the people were already lining up across 6th Avenue very early this morning, waiting for the NYPD to open the gates, which allows them to go to the next block over to get into Times Square. Come on now, I need one of you to weigh in and see if, come on now, you're watching, if you can hear me loud and clear. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Can somebody weigh in? Okay, well, I'm going to proceed like you can hear me. I want to say, first of all, we are going to start this show with 2024 was a banner year for the Warriors. That banner year was due to the involvement of all of you out there, and you know who each and every one of you are. We have a lot of people who like to remain anonymous, a lot of people. I find the most selfless people, the most giving people, they do not want credit. They do not want their names mentioned. And they are with us for the long run. So I want to go over some really happy news that because of you out there, because of your volunteering, your donations, your goods, your services, we were able to build so many new initiatives this year. And I want to remind everybody, we also don't feel it necessary. We don't do it. We don't put a lot of pictures online of different things we do. We're dealing with very vulnerable communities. We are dealing with children. You will never see me posting pictures of kids. You will see maybe some bodies or hands or feet, but you're not going to see their faces. We don't do that, right? And it still amazes me how many people, despite how much we preach about do not put your children's pictures online, people do it. People even working in human trafficking, sexual exploitation. I know everybody's proud of their kids and grandkids and family members, but you know what? Shouldn't be putting their pictures online. But we'll leave that for another day because we want to talk about going into 2025. But I want to make sure that everybody knows 2024 was really an extraordinary year here at the Warriors. Just Thanksgiving to New Year's season, we were involved in 8 different community events, and we provided for 8 different vulnerable communities. Next year, we know the number will be higher, but I can't tell you the happy faces, the smiles, the thankfulness, the graciousness of people who are in need. And it makes us feel really good. And you should feel really good if you participated. And by virtue of your watching this right now on New Year's Eve, I wanted to start it early because I got a lasagna in the oven and we got to feed everybody later. And I'm sure you have a lot to do too. So I wanted to reach out and tell you about some of our new initiatives for 2025. I decided at the Warriors, I was thinking about this. We cannot keep slapping a Band-Aid, the overall work with trafficking. Remember, we call it, at the Warriors, we call it slavery. And that is a much more descriptive word than trafficking. It's enslavement of a person, of a child, of a baby. Preventative education, talking about it, which is raising awareness. We'll continue doing that because that's part of the mission here at the Warriors. But you know what we're going to start in 2025? We're going to start with education and get into those community centers, healthcare facilities, schools, whatever it takes to talk to expectant parents, parents of newborns, parents of toddlers, because the education for them, it has to start from the beginning of a child's life. We have to help everybody raising children today what to do so they don't fall victim to all of these human rights abuses. So we're going to go all the way to newborns and expecting parents. So I want all of you out there to really think about in 2025. This is, buckle up. This is no longer can we take anything for granted. No longer can we say, well, our government will help us. We see where that's going. It hasn't been too great. I don't have to go into a lot of things. I want to keep it light here on New Year's Eve. In the past year, we can't depend on our education system. I know we're all busy. We have to depend on ourselves. Make that commitment in 2025 to become a warrior, to educate, to intervene, to do whatever you can do within your power, because everybody can and must do something. The smallest little thing matters so much. We have to further reach, and we will with the warriors and with your help too, reach into those vulnerable communities, because you know the need is out there. The warriors, we are focused on strictly pretty much the United States, although human trafficking, the slavery, is a global epidemic, pandemic, crisis, whatever you want to call it. We acknowledge that. However, the need is for right here at home in America. And that's where we want to focus. That's where we want you to focus. We have to really take care of our kids. We got to face the reality. I don't care if you have a lot of money, you have no money. Our kids are suffering. I did a little video yesterday about this. The kids are really not okay. Please watch it. Please share it. Please think about it. Think about what you can do. Think about how you can talk to your neighbor, your sibling, your spouse, your teachers, whatever it takes. Because we are in an American crisis. We have this crisis of exploitation with our kids. We have this crisis with the border. We have so much going on. Don't get overwhelmed. Kind of stay in your lane, pick one or two things, stick with it, and that's being a warrior. But again, make this commitment in 2025. You're going to do something. And what are you looking? I want some of you to weigh in that are here, please. What are you looking forward to in 2025? While I'm waiting for some comments, because I would like somebody to comment here, please. I want to tell you that we did have a lot of great things happening in 2024 across the board in the United States. We had about 4 different states that came up with, child safety legislation. Here in New York State, we have it. We have more parents coming to the forefront, testifying in front of Congress, marching in the streets. Let's see, New York, California, we have Florida, definitely, pushing for these things. We have more teachers that talk to me in the education system that want to know more, that want help in how we can get these issues, make time, get the resources for the kids into the schools. So we have a lot of good news, but we have to reflect on our progress in 2024, because remember, this is what helps us build, whether we make mistakes, whether we learn where the holes and the loopholes are, where we can fill in, and also to work with other organizations. I'm still pushing for that, because although, talk is cheap. I really thought when I started the Warriors, everybody would come to the table. It would be a very big collaborative effort. My 2 cents is, on some level, it is, but when it comes down to it, the one hand doesn't know what the other hand is doing. It's like information I know or resources I have could benefit another organization that may have a different set of resources and ideas and things that I don't know about. I want to make the commitment with the Warriors. We're doing it for all of you to come along if you have an organization at all, so we can further collaborate, because collaboration is truly what makes it all work. And I want to say also that I'm so happy about the work that happened, because we're always saying everything's bad. There's a lot of bad out there, but so much good happened in 2024. We want to really work on in the future also. I made a couple of notes. We have so many loyal supporters that have grown over the past year, so we thank you for that. We have so many more parents getting on board, and things like Common Sense Media that are directing us what is good streaming for the kids, what are good movies for the kids, what are good books for the kids. Lots of parents are behind the scenes with Common Sense Media, so we have that going on. And I'll have all this information, links in the body of the video, so you can take your time, and especially tomorrow's a good day, New Year's Day, and look at things. And also, we're working very hard, and we'll be doing more work on the phone-free school environment. There's no federal rule, regulation about any of this. So it's really up to you. We have at linswarriors.org, under our Take Actions, we have how you can do this within your classroom. If you're, younger kids, if you're a class parent, just a parent, how you can approach your school, how you can approach your board of ed, because remember, everybody's different. So it's kind of, you approach your school. How can you have a phone free environment? Because we want to give kids the break. I don't care if it's 1 hour a day, 30 minutes a day from all this social media. I'm still thinking about the mom who told me her child at age 14 had 7 different Instagram accounts, unbeknownst to her, with different names, and was dealing with all these different men on 7 different accounts at the age of 14. I'm haunted by that, right? Because remember, all of these platforms, as great as they are, it's opening your front door and letting the entire world in. You need to put some locks on that door, right? Because you do put locks on your front door, and you don't invite the world to just step in while you're sleeping at night or something like that. So we got to get back to getting into that phone-free school environment. Definitely K through 12. It's got to start, as I just told you. One of our new initiatives will be starting with expectant parents, right through newborns, right through toddlers. Got to come right out of the womb. We got to teach about all this because it has to be done. And K through 12, every one of these classrooms needs some kind of foundation in this phone-free school environment. Now, that's not to say, because a lot of parents write to us, a lot of parents worry that, well, I need to get a hold of my child. Actually, the different focus groups and studies we have show us the parent is more worried about the child having a phone than the actual child is worried about having the phone. So whether we come up with a system where the phones are put in little pouches and kept near the child in the event of an emergency, or the phones are put in little cubbies in each classroom, locked away so the child has easy access to the phone, we need to come up with plans, but it's up to you. Because with everything happening, and don't forget, we cannot sit back on our laurels, everybody. 2025, get ready. Buckle up, as I keep saying, is going to be a 1-2 punch. It's going to be nonstop, and we have to remain vigilant. Vigilant all the time. And don't forget to hit the little like button, because what I'm trying to do here with the Warriors on YouTube is really build numbers, build subscriptions, make sure you're subscribed, and build into the algorithms so our information gets out there and is not hidden behind, I don't know, somebody talking about some crazy topic with trafficking and children or something, because they seem to get a lot of likes and followers. And you know what? When I look at their information, sometimes it's outright not proven, outright, I don't know where they got it from. We at the Warriors are based on facts and truths and participation. And we also want to continue in 2025. So many people have said to us, we want to help. What can we do? We want to continue activating, engaging community activists, more warriors. I mean, our hashtag, after all, is community creates change. So come and be a warrior with us. We want to really build into your community. So if you have some suggestions or want to start a little chapter, a little group in your community, please write to me, lynn@lynswarriors.org. We need to do this together. And we also have to think about, when I was talking about the kids are not okay, remember, our future adults, our future leaders. So we have to start now. We have a lot of work to do to catch up, to really engage with them, empower with them, and get them going, the kids. I know it can be done, because already we're seeing the kids 10 to 14 years old are actually the ones that want the attention, the focus. They want to put the phones down more. They want to get back to books. We're seeing all of this. I mean, did you know that 300 new bookstores are opening in 2025 across the United States? I think that's excellent. I think 30 of them are going to be Barnes & Noble, and the rest are independent bookstores. Now, a couple of hundred independent bookstores across, that is terrific. We need to get back to that community hub, right? Where a bookstore is a place to have a snack, a place to meet, a place to exchange even used books. Like the Warriors, we want to work on all of this with different retailers and supporting small businesses and keeping them empowered, because after all, that empowers our communities. I also want to talk about finding out, there may be a group in your area. There are so many groups that need a little help. So please do a little research. And if you're going to be lazy, okay, I'll do it for you. Just write to me. I'll help you find something in your neighborhood where you can volunteer. You can send them a roll of paper towels. I always like to say tube socks because, believe it or not, the number one request we get are usually in safe spaces, right? Safe house, safe space. Just for the initial is usually socks, uh, a little blanket, usually a little teddy bear, something to hold on to. So think about just those little things from the dollar store that you can spend $5 and that's contributing to your neighborhood. Now, I'm really disappointed that nobody has put any kind of comment on the comments when I'm seeing 55 people watching and 3 people liking. Well, first of all, if 55 are watching, we should have 55 likes. Let's just be real about all of this. But could somebody put a comment? Could somebody tell me what they're looking forward to in 2025? That would be nice to talk about. I'll wait. I'm very patient. But in the meantime, I'll keep talking as I'm waiting. But I also want to talk to you about, there's so many, I want you to really focus in 2025 on the kids, on the kids, on the kids, on the kids. The reality is we're not stopping trafficking. We can't. I hear it rivals the drug trade. I hear from my law enforcement sources, a lot of them say it's bigger than the drug trade. We haven't even touched on the fentanyl that kills about 300 Americans a day that we know about. Especially the number one killer, the opioids, 18 to 45, is the fentanyl and all that's pressed into all those chemicals and pills and everything that kids can readily buy on the internet. So we've really, when I say, I was thinking, okay, we start young, we start like, I've always saying like 3rd grade, age appropriate, educating about, and then it occurred to me this morning, we have to start before kids are even born because we have to educate those parents to step up to the plate. Those parents who, and I'm not judging, don't have the tools, don't have the wherewithal, can't think about this horrible stuff. It's got to be part of life. Eating, sleeping, going to school. You have to learn about all of this exploitation. That includes talking about porn. I am sorry, but our kids are so exploited and are seeing things that adults my age report to me. Once seen, they've never unseen them if they saw something as a child. And the porn today is so much darker and horrific than what was, and just horrible, awful, disgusting. I mean, we're a family show, so I can't go into it. I wish I could, but I can't because I'd rather this information get out to you. And sometimes when you put certain things more explicit, it's just not going to get to you at all. So I want all of you, I know it's hard to deal with, and it's all over in society, but you know what? The pendulum is swinging back. I heard one of the trends here in New York for New Year's Eve, the trend always was everybody gets dressed up and everybody goes out on New Year's Eve. The trend this year is, and it's funny because I've been asking people, like, when I'm saying Happy New Year and what are you going to do tonight? What are you going to do tomorrow? And it was yesterday. And people are saying, I'm staying home. I don't think I met anybody yet that's going out. So there's new trend of staying home. So why not get dressed up? Like I put on my little sequins and spangles here. And I've got the lasagna in the oven, awaiting the crowds later. And just stay home and stay safe and be with family and loved ones. And remember, if you're alone, you can tune in. You can watch some of the Lynn's Warriors videos. You can watch there's some great old movies on tonight. You are never alone. Something also at the Warriors we want to talk about in 2025 is there's so much isolation. And it's being undone a little bit. We know that whole COVID period caused this. We're still suffering the great effects from all of that. But people, we need to meet people where they are, whether that's family members. And I'm not really even talking about kids right now because kids are under, I don't want to say control, but, we have parental autonomy with our kids. But I'm talking about, you might have a sibling, you might have a parent, across the miles, a friend, whatever that may be, a coworker. We need to look out for these other people. We really need to check in on them. We really need to, but again, Some people actually just like to be left alone. So we can't be intrusive, but we do have to somehow figure out a way based on, their personality, just checking in on them. And it's not like, "Are you okay?" or "I'm worried about you, you're alone." That sounds horrible. It's something like if they're a neighbor, "Oh, can I bring you a cup of coffee?" or "I'm gonna be driving by your house later. Can I drop something off? A book?" It's that kind of thing. So they don't feel, put their guard up and feel like there's something wrong with them. But we do have to keep an eye on people because this isolation is no good. And you know this. I mean, studies show more people are engaged, the happier they are, the better they feel. Even if it's for 2 hours and you get somebody to come over your house, or you go to their house, just talking about a lot of nothing. I don't know. Just talk about a lot of nothing. You feel relaxed for 2 hours, right? So we encourage that. So I'm very much, this whole Lynn's Warriors chose me. I did not choose any of it. The number one question I get, especially if I'm doing an interview, people always want to know, well, how did you start this? Why did you start this? And frankly, I had a wonderful childhood in New Jersey, wonderful parents, um, wonderful siblings, wonderful education. Um, we took many trips into New York to see plays, and in those days they showed movies at Radio City. And we did shop. My mother did shopping at the New York department stores. I really had a good childhood growing up. And I so now at this age appreciate that because so many kids, it's horrific, just don't have that kind of base. And therefore, and I believe, I know people say, well, we have the internet now, so it's the same as it always was. We're just seeing more now. No, 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 no. We are seeing more of the normalization of exploitation. We are seeing kids commit more horrific acts. We are seeing kids that will say they did something. Again, I'm getting around algorithms here. They'll say, like, I did this because I felt like it. And there's no rhyme or reason. Maybe the mother said, you can't stay out past 8 o'clock. For small little things, we have to get back to this teaching our kids consequences, critical analyzing and analysis, healthy debate. It's okay to disagree, right? Because I remember the days in New York going back that people would come together and we would have these so-called salons and everybody would sit around and talk. Would it get heated? There was always a hothead in the group, whatever. People were sitting on the floor or on couches, windowsills, uh, just talking about, it could be politics, it could be current events, it could be the music business where I started. But everybody was allowed to speak. Nobody was made fun of. Nobody was judged. Again, there was always some hothead in the group yelling something out, but that was okay. But the point of why I'm telling you this is because at the end of the night, or sometimes we had them in the afternoon, um, everybody left as friends. And a lot of people would go to the local coffee shop, we called them here in New York, and just, have something to eat, continue talking. Some people went their own way, but there was never this kind of animosity, this constant uh, feeling of just ugliness. And I think we really are starting to get back to that thinking. Now we have a lot to look forward to in 2025. We must remain vigilant at all times. We must keep an eye on our friends and our family members very appropriately. But I want to leave you all with, before the bell goes off for my lasagna, making that commitment to support our children, to educate, engage, and empower them. The Warriors is working with a wonderful group called the Wonder Girls, based out of New York, New Jersey, and now Connecticut. They will be and should be expanding across the United States. Middle school and high school girls, some are in college now. The group is about 4, going into their 5th year, and it's about empowerment. And I've seen how these girls empower each other, because remember, there's power like in numbers. And if one's kind of slipping or sliding, The other ones pick them up. And it's the most lovely group. I saw some when they started, again, I guess in the beginning of high school as freshmen. Now they're in college. Some are coming back to help the younger ones. It's a beautiful thing. It's the kind of thing we need, right? Because we need peer to peer. Because you and I, any of us working in this, I've never been trafficked. How can I really speak about trafficking? I can't. And that is why we do extensive work behind the scenes with survivors. But again, we don't advertise that. We support them. We listen to them. We help them financially. We empower them. We engage them. But I bring their voices forth. So the warriors, our mission statement is education. For the public, we need PSAs. And I've mentioned this before. I'm going to be making my own in 2025 for all of this. We need little nuggets to be aired. Now, again, I don't really watch any mainstream media. I get my news basically from foreign resources. And I find, this is my opinion, that foreign resources cover the Americas, as I like to say, the United States, better than our own news here. There's a lot more critical analysis of the issues, right? More on a global. But really, I mean, we should be having, at least on our local news, I think Channel 5 might still do it. You know, Where Is Your Child? The 10 o'clock news. This is the New York local Fox channel. But we should be having that on every single across the country. And also, I leave you with this. Every day on our X account, on our Facebook, we put missing children. It just takes one set of eyes to, if you share that, maybe somebody saw something. We have the phone numbers. Maybe you heard something. You are not held in any kind of anything if you made a mistake, right? Please help us. There are so many missing children. If I stop and think about it, I get so incredibly upset because how can so many kids be missing on a daily basis? Where are the children? Well, they're here somewhere, right, in the United States, so people know something. So we all have to, 2025, make that commitment, sharing the pictures of missing children. Where are these children? Because they're all somewhere for the most part. So let's end with, this is New Year's Eve 2025. Can you believe it? We're going to have a happy and a healthy year. That is our wish for you. The warriors want you. There's a lot of hope out there. We want to leave you with hope. There's a lot of love out there. You just got to find it, right? Because all of this is infectious. And there are a lot of good people. Find them. Don't let the ones, move in on you that are so negative. Learn right away if somebody doesn't make you feel good. Keep them out of your lives. Community creates change. That is our warriors hashtag. Please, everybody, have a great night. Happy and healthy. If you have any questions or comments, please write Lynn at Lynn's Warriors to us. I can't wait to get going tomorrow, 2025. We had such a great year due to all of you in 2024. And 2025, I leave you with buckle up, because we're not backing down. The Warriors has just begun. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Have a wonderful New Year's Eve, and we'll talk to you in the new year.